Side Scrollers is brought to you by you. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/sidescrollers. It's time for Side Scrollers on youtube.com. With me, Stuttering Craig. You got a goal? Go get it. Adam Krigler.
Hey, buddy.
Blabs.
I want sunshine, I want flowers, and I need it now.
And producer extraordinaire, Travis Key.
Hi, guys.
And brought to you by you, the G2 community, at patreon.com/sidescrollers. And now, broadcasting from our homes, it's time for the number one gaming and entertainment podcast on planet Earth. It's time for Side Scrollers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, welcome on out to Side Scrollers on youtube.com. What's going on, everybody? Hey, I'm Stuttering Craig. Welcome to the number one video game and entertainment podcast on planet Earth. It's Side Scrollers. Good to see everybody. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Man, we did. Crazy weekend. Crazy weekend. I can't wait to share with you guys. Joining us as always, the one, the only man without a throne. Now just sitting in a nice duplex with a piano in the background. Hello, Travis. How are you?
I'm a bit behind this morning. I was gonna do all that this morning and woke up way late today.
Do all what this morning?
I got a new computer.
Oh, okay.
So I have to move things over and things like
Well,
that.
you made it. You made it, which is great.
I'm here.
You are here. Congratulations. That's half of the job. Also joining us today, but not his camera. It's Adam Krigler.
Yeah, I'm sick of the freezing, and I tried to fix it, and now my settings are all wonky, and I'm just not gonna be on camera today. It's too frustrating, dude.
Well, that gives us a good opportunity to remind everybody to go. You can also listen to the show on
True.
Spotify and iHeartRadio. So make sure you guys go and if you guys like the MP3 version, don't like the live version, want to catch us. I had a G2 over on Patreon says, "Hey, I'm kind of new to podcast, but like supporting you guys. Is there a way to download the show? You can download the episodes on Spotify. You can listen to them there. So listen to them in your spare time and do whatever. And I think that's great. Also joining us today, a man with 1 million dogs.
Hi, hello everybody. X-Ray Girl's here too.
Oh.
Hey,
It's Mark the Cyborg.
Hey,
Hello, everybody.
Baki, Mbe.
Hi, X-Ray Girl. How are you?
Japanese, Vietnamese.
Wow,
stuff.
wow.
Whatever.
Whoa.
Hey, look,
Puppies!
Japanese is the language I speak more often. Okay, I forgot. It is.
Konnichiwa. Let's go.
Because every time I'm dealing with Japanese video games or anime, I'm saying Japanese words, and then Mbe is what I say in Vietnamese, and I got the English word for the languages mixed up.
Well, it's good to see you, Mark. Welcome on
Good
in.
to see you guys too. How's it going?
You may notice a notable exception of someone not being with us today. That is because Blabs has been placed under incarceration, which is
wasn't
wildly
me.
unfortunate.
I didn't do it.
Blabs has been arrested, and Blabs will be joining us a little bit later on in the show once she gets bailed out. So once we get there, I can't wait to see the story behind Blabs' incarceration, and we'll see. I heard it was for publicly flashing people. It was really weird. Do you guys have any idea as to why Blabs would be arrested?
I'm a lot more interested now than I was a couple seconds ago.
Travis, let me tell you something, man, real quick before we get into Blabs. That sounded really wrong. God damn it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was bad phrasing. Come on, dude.
I'm bad at this. Listen, I've only been talking for 17 years online. All right, Travis, I kept thinking about your freaking sex shop stories this weekend and just how ridiculous and over the top and funny they were, man. It was so freaking funny. If you guys haven't had a chance to go and listen to Friday's show, make sure you guys go and listen to it. It was really good. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm going to have a clip of that, the sex shop conversation up. Oh, hold on. Blabs is here. Blabs, how are you, Blabs?
I'm free for now. I am on the run. We'll
All
see
right.
how it goes for now.
Blabs, good to see you. Welcome on in.
Oh, thanks.
Did you make it through all right?
Prison's a scary place, man.
It's
I
ridiculous.
don't like it.
Okay,
I never
well,
want to go back.
we'll get into your story here in a little bit, but welcome home. Welcome home.
Thank
Glad you
I
decided.
feel
to
safe
join us
now.
today. Side Scrollers is your safe place, which is good. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so big show today. Obviously, a lot going on. I wanted to remind you guys we are 34,950 strong on this channel, growing a
Wow.
little bit more every day, closing in on 35,000 subscribers. Thanks so much for allowing us to be a part of your day, and you guys allowing us, you guys being a part of ours, which is great. We love it. We look forward to it every single day. If you guys want to support the show, you can by going over to patreon.com/sidescrollers. It's really important that you do, because today is actually the last day that you can get your questions in for James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd. I'm going to be interviewing him. It's going to be a pre-recorded interview, but I'm going to allow you guys to ask questions, and video questions are obviously ideal. And the cutoff for that will be today, because the interview is going to be happening either tomorrow or the following day. So make sure you guys get in over there. It's really important that you do. As a matter of fact, here is the screen. So go on over there and check it out. So it's right there over on Patreon. If you were logged in, you'd be able to see it. But if you're a patron, you'd be able to see it. So let's see. On top of that, the previous shirt that was selling like hotcakes, the Beat Your Demon shirt, is now no longer available. It is off. As stated, it was gone, but a lot of people picked it up. Thank you guys very much for picking up your Beat Your Demons red shirt. On top of that, let's see a couple other quick notes. G2 Tons of Fun won the March Madness bracket, beating Shane and Calm, and I actually finished 8th in that thing, which was like middle of the pack. So that sucks. And on top of that, we also have a Side Scrollers on Rumble page, which I believe the link is down in the description over on YouTube. We are not live streaming there yet, but we do have a Rumble page over there. So just so you know, the episodes will be archived over there if you guys like watching the version over on Rumble. So we're diversifying as we continue to go. So on top of that, one last quick thing I wanted to point out. We had Carolyn on the show last week, formerly of Limited Run Games. She has a new employer. She had some things she wanted to talk about, and she was able to announce them today. And she has been hired by the Rippaverse. Congratulations.
I
Yeah.
think it's awesome. Such a good move.
Cool.
Yep, awesome. She's been hired over there to kind of do customer relations for Rippaverse. I think that's a really great move. She was unjustly canceled from Limited Run Games, and Rippaverse has hired her back up. So congratulations to Carolyn. She said she will be on the show again. She says you can't get rid of me that easy, which is great. So I'm very excited to see Kara making big moves, which is awesome. So
Yeah, Kara's been playing Conan Exiles with my wife and Shadiversity.
Oh, good.
And Jane Theory too, and and Nina Infinity. It's like a whole bunch of them over there. I can't really get into survival crafting games though. I tried.
I tried
Just-
to. I tried.
Like,
and
Sons
just
of
not
Forest
really
game,
my
you saying?
zone. Sorry.
Sons of Forest game? That
No,
one?
it's got a similar. It's kind of closer to Valheim by the look of it. It's just a lot flashier looking, a lot cleaner. They've been working on it for years now, and now there's a pretty recent update that's made it much more approachable, apparently. And a lot of people have really been getting into it. It's a fairly inexpensive game on Steam as well.
it's been around for 5-6 years now. It's been around
Yeah.
for a good while, and I feel like it's really starting to. I don't know, it's weird how games have these ebbs and flows where
Mhm.
they can be released and nobody really pays attention, where they see a little bump initially, and then people go away, and then they make some sort of update, and then I don't know. It's amazing how Conan Exiles seems like it's a pretty popular game right now. I don't play it, but I see a lot of people streaming it. So
Well, I
cool.
mean, it's the thing when you have a team that's small and can make content on a relatively limited budget, they can be working for a very long period of time without having to have tons of money pumped into them by expensive battle passes and microtransactions. The biggest problem with, I think, monetization of online multiplayer games and video games in general these days is so much of it is put into place to account for the gigantic upfront budgets that they spend on the games that they're making, and the amount of money it costs to continue making content with the level of like visual fidelity and graphic style that can be very expensive to do things like design something as simple as a cup that's in the background, where
right.
if you just have a Steam asset pack or something like that and you're an indie team, It's like, okay, well, let's get Cup. Okay, it's in, done.
Well,
Let's
that's actually a really good way. And I'll tell you, we're going to flip some stories around on a run sheet here, but that's a really, really good segue into our first story today. But right now, it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It's time for
Hard News.
I don't like that I can't see you.
Yeah,
I'm
right?
just-
I was like,
just
is he
gonna be
gonna do
Is
it?
it
honest.
weird?
Yeah,
Is it weird? I was ready
is
for
weird.
it. I'm
is.
here.
You did great. You did great. You
Thank
nailed
you,
it.
guys.
You-
You know.
10 out of
You're
10
fabulous,
on
Adam.
I got
I'm doing
space on
what
the
I
couch,
can.
Adam.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, before we
Come
get
on
into this,
downstairs.
Captain Philly came in with 100 bits, says she was beating her demons in the wrong place. Blabs.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
Was the camera on? Is that why?
Oh no, the camera was on. Damn.
Extra Zero came in with the 4.99 super chat, says Blabs was in the action figure aisle and was misheard. Hashtag free Blabs.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Interesting. Jay Rome came in with 500 bits, says Blabs is as harmful as a box of kittens. If she was arrested, I would have to say it would be jaywalking or turning without a signal. She can't be that bad, can
I've
she?
never turned without a signal on, but I have jaywalked a bunch of times. I mean, who hasn't?
She's
Well,
as
you
harm-
live. Yeah, I don't want to say where you live, but I lived in New York for a long time. Everybody jaywalks.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does
Everybody.
it.
she would drown the box of kittens. What are you talking about?
Oh my god!
Only if they were
Travis.
digital kittens.
Oh,
Oh
sorry.
yeah, digital and like roller coaster tycoon.
I think there's a darker side to Blabs
I
for
think I
sure.
have a problem even doing that in a
I
video
have to
game,
install
man.
roller coaster tycoon. I'm gonna try it this week and see if it works on my PC.
I haven't drowned anyone recently. I really gotta get back.
I really
into
get
that
on my
game.
grind again, guys. I'm slacking.
And also, Utterly Insane has been traveling and just finally got caught up this past week and a half of insanity. Really went places I didn't expect. May you have a 15-year legacy. Hey, thank you so much, Utterly Insane. Yes, the last week of shows was nuts. We were all over the place. We talked about iPhone and microtransaction addiction. We talked about sex shops.
Porn stories.
It was great. It was great. Yeah. So
Did you see the clip I posted in our chat? I saw that floating around. I'm like, man, if I had seen that Friday, it's just hilarious. Can you play that just real quick? Come on. It's funny.
One second. Yes. And Kinetic picked up a side scrollers G2 distressed cap. Thank you so much for picking that up. Let me pull this up. This is important. This is important follow up to last week's
Very important
conversation. I don't know how I could go on the show without talking about this. Here we go.
I don't think you know how big 12 inches is. Do you see that? Just in scale, where is that going? Not in here, okay? The average male is going to get about that much. Maybe this, if they're a pro, but the rest of that, completely unmanageable. This is the biggest I've ever seen in real life, but this is fine. It's completely fine. This, fabulous. Almost too big. Definitely too big. Fucking sick day. ER 27 club. And now I'm just skipping my next life. Anything after that is entirely unethical. I don't think we know what we're talking.
Okay, now and how long was the fuck? I don't remember what it was. The bone?
17 inches. It was an extra 50% on top of that. God.
Oh,
That's good. She's like
man.
empowering men. Yeah.
I agree. I think every man should feel good after watching that video. Be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, all right, it's good. It truly is the motion of the ocean, which is great. All right.
It's not the size that counts how you use it. Yeah.
Let them know, Blabs. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Let's piggyback on what Mark was talking about with the assets and buying things off Steam and all that. Because there was a really big story that kind of came down over the weekend about a game that I've never heard about, but apparently is becoming pretty prominent in certain circles. A game called Dark and Darker, where it was removed from Steam after it had accusations from the previous company that the people who work on Dark and Darker, the accusations was from a company called Nexon that they had stolen assets, and so the entire game got removed from Steam after this, which was kind of an interesting thing. So Iron Mace is the new company, and they've gone in and they actually used Chat GPT for some help. It's pretty interesting story. And I figured we just kind of read through this, and I mean it's a fairly long story, but you'll get the gist of it pretty quick. It says, you might have heard of Dark and Darker, a dungeon crawling take on Escape of Tarkov's PvPvE that's been gaining popularity over the last few months. And it's ended up becoming one of the most popular games during February's Steam Next Fest. Have you guys heard of this game? Mark, you heard of this game?
Yes, I have, but only through the controversy.
Oh, okay. So just in the last few days, huh?
Yeah.
This is, once again, probably the best thing that could happen to this game, is because people now
I
know
never
about
heard
it.
of it.
Yeah, right. It wasn't due to launch in full until sometime this winter, but the window is now up in the air after Dark and Darker was removed from Steam over the weekend following a messy legal dispute between Nexon and developers Iron Mace, who have been accused of using trade secrets and copyrighted information allegedly stolen from Nexon. So Nexon went in and they got a hold of Steam and said, "Hey, these guys used to work for us. They're taking our ideas, and now all of a sudden here we are. So don't sell our game. You can't sell our game. It's ridiculous." Iron Mace says to all of our fans, we have recently been served a cease and desist letter and DMCA takedown from Nexon regarding Dark and Darker based on distorted claims. Well, what are the distorted claims? Well, in the DMCA letter, which you can read in full, which we're not going to, Nexon says that they were developing a project codenamed P3 in 2020 to 2021, and they claimed Iron Mace stole assets and ideas from P3 and turning it into Dark and Darker. Their first claim involved a former employee who allegedly acquired and transferred without authorization more than 11,000 build files to his personal server.
Wow.
Nexon says they subsequently fired the employee, who then apparently went on to approach other Nexon devs, urging them to leave and develop a P3-like game. Another Nexon employee founded Iron Mace a few months later, and Nexon employees, including Joe, and joined the Darker and Darker development. So, in response, Iron Mace says that Joy was using a personal server for the use of P3's programming team since COVID restrictions had made development difficult. Iron Mace's response goes into more detail, but long story short, Nexon was apparently aware of the personal server, and they only made accusations of stolen files after the company heard of Choi's plans to leave. So that's one of them. There's multiple layers to this, and everything that Nexon has thrown at them, Iron Mace has been able to kind of swat to half court and be like, well, this is why this is done, and we'll kind of continue on. Just initial thoughts on that.
I'm curious to see what his response is, because it seems like they're right to be upset if he did in fact take their assets. I mean, it's owned by their property. I don't know. I'm kind of on their side at the moment.
Okay. Nexon also claims that before Dark and Darker, no other game had the same concept, genre, or plot as the P3 game. Iron Mace responded saying that Dark and Darker is so generic and common that it is broadly applied to numerous other fantasy games. To emphasize their point, Iron Mace used ChatGPT to describe a generic fantasy dungeon crawler, and the AI's response isn't too far off from Dark and Darker. So they're saying you can't. This is like a generic genre. You can't just take the genre and say it's so specific that it's not. Nexon has made other claims, and Iron Mace has responded. In fact, the aforementioned Discord statement, Iron Mace says that 950 assets are in fact identical since they were bought from the Epic Marketplace, a developer store that's recently been involved. Blah 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 blah. So that's kind of where it's at right now. And earlier in March, Iron Mace's offices were searched by officials, but the studio told the company that it was a quick process and that nothing was found. And Dark and Darker was scheduled for a 2023 launch, but it's unclear if the Medieval Looter is still on track. So Nexon has gone out of their way. They are a company that is behind Maple Story, which is a really prominent game, and they've obviously made millions and millions of dollars, and they're dealing with a very small production company. One of the things that's not in this article is something that Mark actually touched on a couple minutes ago, was one of the responses that the Dark and Darker folks said was Nexon was saying there's no way that they could have created this stuff this quickly, and Dark and Darker essentially responded with yeah, you can if you're not a bloated giant company and you're just a few guys working on something. You can work a lot quicker without a whole lot of turn and churn and all that
You don't
stuff.
need 10 people to sign off on something before you move forward to the next step.
Right. And
Just go.
that's kind of their big argument right there. So
Well, and also if they had just got done making a game, they have that in their brain. They're used to doing these things so they can do it faster. They've been working on things just like this for you know what I mean? So clearly they're going to be in that game making mode and be able to make it quick. It's just what it is.
Also, if you just started your own game, you're hungry and you want to get something out because you probably have rent to pay also.
That's true.
I think that if you let's say, just for shits and giggles, right? A guy who's worked on Mario for the last 5 years, right? Mario games. You think that if he left Nintendo, what's probably the first type of game he's going to make? Probably a platformer just like
Side-scroller.
Mario. Yeah, exactly. You know, platformer just like Mario, do the exact same thing because that's what he knows. And on top of that, a lot of the assets in Dark and Darker they're similar to Nexon because it's the same guy who was making the assets for P3.
Now, similar
have
is different
style.
than identical because the
Right.
company's claiming identical. So is it identical or is it similar? Because you make a good point. I mean, similar because the guy is the one who made the freaking assets. So like, which is it?
Well, and there could even be an argument to be made if the reason he doesn't work there anymore is he was working a lot of overtime hours in his own time making things. Those then belong to him, do they not? If he was working in his own time.
It's interesting to think at what point when you're designing an asset does it become the thing that is now the property of your publisher? Because
Right.
like say I design 80% of this cup and then I finish it by adding the sticker that says this is a Thermos brand cup that will keep your drink hot for 5 hours. And then I hand that to Thermos and they're like, okay, this asset is my property. If I have a file save as that's just this mug without that Thermos thing on and it's on my computer at home because that's where I made it, and that's still my work and my thing. It's like, well, no, that's not what I handed in to you. I handed in the finished product to you and that's yours. But everything leading up to that is still the skeleton of a Thermos that I may need to use in another game. And I'm sure a lot of developers and modelers in particular have a lot of half finished things that they can then be like, okay, I need a person. Here's 60% of a person. Now I need to start shaping it to make it look like Blabs and then start shaping that same person differently to look like Craig.
Yeah, so I definitely hear that. I think that remove model and replace it with PowerPoint presentation or Excel spreadsheet, right? The Excel spreadsheet may not be done, but the company still owns that asset, right? I think that it really kind of comes down to whatever the contract they signed initially, and the contract probably said, it probably, just knowing how corporations work, the second you put a stroke down on your, on a keypad, that is the company of the property, the company or the property of the company, most likely.
And I guess it does go back to the contract then, because if they don't have a clause, about everything you make is ours, then, like I said, if it's his free time, there's an argument to be made about it.
I think
Man.
also when you're dealing with neutral items like assets that you could find in a game, like, hey, this is a standard knife that could be anywhere in a modern shooter game. It's just like a combat knife. How can I make that differently if I'm going to put a combat knife in my game? Like, or
Right.
how much different does it need to be? Do I have to invent a whole new type of material that that only exists in my game's universe for me to have a combat knife because I made one for you, or else you can sue me? It's like, no, I made Modern Warfare for you, and then I made Battlefield Bad Company for you. They're both modern combat shooters, so we have, the models look similar. What do you want from me?
Right. Kyle brings up that didn't the co-founder of Street Fighter make Fatal Fury? Also the same scenario with Virtual Fighter. Also in the rideshare biz with Lyft and Uber. Right. There's all sorts. You see this type of thing all the time. And Kyle, thank you so much for your super chat. Where somebody's coming from one area of business and they say, well, I can do that better, and so they go over here. You see that all the time with in the podcast industry, in the content space, where people say, "Oh, I can do that just a little bit better. I gained a lot of expertise. I'm going to go over here and do it a little bit, just a little bit different." It's mostly the same, but it's in, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. It's a weird situation, and but it's not that uncommon of a situation. I feel like this happens all the time.
I told you guys about the Jimmy John's guy, right?
No.
Well, the first Jimmy John's started in the town I used to live in, and he actually worked for a place called Silvermine Subs, and he had a zero competition clause for 10 years after he worked there. But what did he do? He went ahead and made a new place called Jimmy John's and stole the recipes, altered them slightly, and went ahead and made all. And he's doing much, much better than Silvermine ever did. And Jimmy John's is everywhere. And he actually built his house on the corner. It's like a $12 million house in this little itty bitty neighborhood.
Wait. So hold on. So I can't get past the idea that there was a 10-year period where you're not supposed to compete.
And here's the crazy part.
How is that enforceable?
He makes normal employees sign a no competition clause after you quit. So we fire you or you quit. You can't work for somebody who's our against us or
Can't work for Subway
in the same industry. Yeah. And that's why he makes normal, like minimum wage employees sign. How do I know that? Because my friend worked for him.
You can't work for Subway.
Yeah.
That's the
Isn't
dumbest.
that crazy?
But the owner did the same thing.
Right.
He literally took the recipes, and so that's why he's so worried about it. 'cause
Exactly.
He knows the power of the secrets.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm with Pete. Like, there's no way a 10-year is even closely enforceable. There's no way. Like, I can see a couple months, maybe, but it's crazy. Captain Billy says with 100 bits says maybe the motion of the ocean, but it takes a long time to get to England in a canoe. This is I see what you're saying. 17 inches. Big Top came in with the $5 direct donation. Says, "Hey yo, Blabs is now the gangster of the podcast." I like that. That's how she'll be introduced from Blabs. Don't do that. Don't do that, Blabs.
Is that a bad sign? Is that like some racist thing also that I just didn't know about?
You're
Okay.
Probably somewhere.
You're so racist, Blabs. It's
I
ridiculous.
am. It's terrible.
Just culturally appropriating all sorts of people. Don't you know
Yeah.
gangsters have feelings too? All right.
Probably. I'm one of them. I have feelings. I'm a gangster now.
Gravy D came in as a brand new member. Thank you so much, Gravy D. Appreciate that.
Hi, Gravy.
And Evan came in with the $13.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Evan. Says, "Poor Blab, since joining Side Scrollers, she's been made to lose a game. She since joining Side Scrollers, she's been made to lose a game. She's never lost. Hashtag Blab's never lost. Was labeled a serial drowner, an action figure racist, and now erased it. Hashtag prayers for Blabs." Thank you, Evan. Appreciate that.
Thanks, man.
Blabs truly will
I
never.
don't know if I agree with that super chat, but that's
I
fine.
agree. I never lost.
Blabs will truly never get ahead. Ever.
Never.
All right, you guys want to move on to the next story?
Yeah.
By the way, we're getting into Blab's tale of jail shortly. She'll
Prison
be
and
sharing with us.
suspensions.
Yes. All right. We learned this over the weekend. This guy is kind of on the upward climb in Hollywood. He is a star of Creed 3, as well as plays Kang in the new Marvel Cinematic Universe in the Ant-Man film. But this guy, Jonathan Majors, was arrested over the weekend. And if you never heard the name, you'd recognize his face because it's in all sorts of promotional stuff. He was arrested in New York City on strangulation, assault, and harassment charges. So there's apparently a domestic dispute, and he was popped in the car and sent down to the precinct. And the police department said on Saturday at approximately 11:14 hours, police responded to a 911 call. A preliminary investigation determined that a 33-year-old male was involved in a domestic dispute with a 30-year-old female. The victim informed police she was assaulted. Officers placed the 33-year-old male into custody without incident. The victim sustained minor injuries to her head and neck and was removed to an area hospital in stable condition. So, obviously, his defense lawyer came out and said Jonathan Majors is completely innocent and provably the victim of an altercation with a woman he knows. So they're saying it's the other way around. They're saying that he was the one who was getting slapped around by the woman. We are quickly gathering and presenting evidence to the district attorney with the expectation that all charges will be dropped immediately. This evidence includes video footage from the vehicle where this episode took place, witness testimony from the driver and others who saw and heard the episode, and most importantly, 2 written statements from the woman recanting these allegations.
Oh my God.
All the evidence proves that Mr. Majors is entirely innocent and did not assault her whatsoever. Unfortunately, this incident came about because the woman was having an emotional crisis for which she was taken into hospital yesterday. The NYPD is required to make an arrest in these situations, and this is the only reason Mr. Majors was arrested. We expect these charges to be dropped soon.
This is crazy to me that they would have. There's
Yeah,
so
they're-
much evidence for his innocence, and they have to arrest him because we have to make an arrest. Why not arrest her then?
She should be arrested now.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, well, there's always there's one side of the story, and then there's the other side of the story, and then there's the real story is somewhere in the middle, right? Because the defense attorney is going to come out and be like, OJ didn't do it. Are you kidding me? Just
Yeah.
forget about all the DNA. Oh, what are you talking about?
I think it's still too new. This just happened. Like all these rumors are flying around. He said, she said. Let's just wait for the facts. And like innocent until proven guilty. I feel like everyone's forgetting about that now. And they're all going to Twitter and just writing their things. He should be fired. Boom. And it's like,
Well, he's guilty until proven innocent.
Well, and that's
case in point on what happened.
right.
mm,
And
And
that's
that's the
not
problem.
okay.
nope.
I think
That's
had,
crazy.
I had a buddy in high school, one of my best friends, great guy. He was dating this girl, and they were having some fights, and he was like, "I think I'm done with this relationship," and broke up with her. Just average high school breakup, whatever. She was so upset and didn't want to break up with him that she claimed he raped her,
oh my
and he went to jail for 2 years of his life. And he right out of high school, he was adopted, and his adopted father canceled the adoption shit. He lost his family. He lost 2 years of his life, and she felt guilty and admitted to, I don't remember who she, a psychologist or something, because she was felt guilty, she lied, and he went to prison. He was in prison, and she fucking admitted that she lied about it, and he got out of prison. Nothing ever happened to her. She never had any fucking
She didn't have to
repercussion.
pay anything. Nothing.
She should go to jail for 2 years.
Oh yeah.
She should serve the same amount of time now that she's. Oh, you felt guilty. Oh yeah, you put an innocent man in jail because you were being a fucking crazy person because you didn't want to break up with him.
Longer.
Fuck you, dude.
Because
Believe all women is the biggest fucking crock of shit
Yep.
ever.
She
I've got
ruined
the
his
move.
reputation, so I think she should go for longer than he went.
Well, she owes him for fucking ruining his life.
How's
I mean,
this?
he's
Sue
got a
her?
great life now. I'm just saying, he's turned it around and he's living
for
well.
him.
Yeah, I'm really happy for
But
him.
he does in spite of what happened to him.
Yep.
Right.
That's the most jacked up thing
Mhm.
about this, right? It's so sad to see how people react just from a just from that standpoint of look, she said this happened. Well, he's going to jail. I'm like, once again, why did he need to get arrested? Who knows? Maybe he does need to be arrested. We don't
Right.
know.
We don't know yet.
But let's figure out the details for us before we have to arrest somebody. And the situation with your friend, there are few things in the world that I am more passionate about than the idea of people doing bad things and being thrown in jail for them, right? I think swatting, if you swat somebody, you should be thrown in jail, right? If you
Agreed.
got 100%. If you falsely
Attempted
accuse
murder.
somebody, what's that?
Swatting is basically attempted murder. I
Agreed.
think that people need to get that into their heads. It's like, no, you're not playing a prank in this situation. Someone could die, and you're effectively rolling the dice on, hey, I might kill this person right now. Wouldn't that be funny? And that's absolutely disgusting.
Or
Mhm.
their animal, because cops shoot and ask questions
Yeah,
later
sure.
about dogs.
Yeah, if you got a big dog, it's,
Right. If they came in and spotted me, they would shoot my dog because he barks at people and he's so nice. He wouldn't bite them or do anything, but they would fear because he's barking, and just shoot him.
Hey, big ups to Dan Bask. Dan, thank you so much for that big
Yeah,
old
Dan.
raid of 45 folks over on Twitch.
Hey.
That's awesome. Really appreciate that, Dan. You're
Hi,
the man.
Dan.
Dan, we got some
Yeah.
nice Outback waiting for you next time I see you. Okay, buddy. Appreciate
Well,
that.
it's takeout. You can order it for him, and he can pick it up, right?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I can go use the Uber app or whatever it is, the Uber Eats app for Dan, and send him some the best Australian fast food ever. But if you guys are coming in, make sure you guys hit the follow button. You guys are in the middle of a good conversation. We're talking about the Jonathan Majors arrest in New York City. But to kind of continue my point, one thing is swatting. I think I have zero tolerance for that. The other is false accusations. I think
Yeah,
in a
just
situation where I think you would see some serious reform if the idea of just pointing a finger and getting somebody arrested wasn't the case. Like if you actually had evidence attached to it, or if you pointed the finger and if they were innocent, there was some sort of action on the person, the accuser, man, you would see all sorts of, you would see amazing things happen if there was some sort of, I guess the proper term is reparations for that.
Yeah.
I think the
I
problem.
think
Go ahead.
the trick with that would be is it would be seen as a means to discourage people from coming forward. If you made it a gamble on the part of the victim, like to have them be like, well, if I don't have enough evidence, this could be my ass right here. And
I
joke
think that's a really good point. I think it's actually
And
a
I
really
think
good
that's
point.
the issue was we had this world where people didn't get arrested for so long for things because it was just hysterical women for a while, and then we've gone to the complete opposite end way
Yep.
too far to make up for that. You know what I mean? And what we need to do is come back right in the middle, as with everything. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think there's always going to be an overcorrection, which is what you're seeing now, the overcorrection on one side. But Mark, you bring up a really good point, right? I think that when I say falsely accused, that doesn't mean that nothing happened, right? It does. When I say falsely accused, I mean, it's like, hey, Mark beat the hell out of me. Right. And I go, Mark the Cyborg beat the hell out of me and he should be arrested for it. And you
like,
get
we were
hauled
at
in.
kickboxing class, dude. That's why we were there.
Right. Well, and I have no, no bruises on me. I'm not bloody or whatever. Right. If there's zero proof that it happened, then I should be the one who gets in trouble. You know what I mean? But if there,
I think it more is like if it's provable that you lied, right? So like the Kavanaugh shit, the girl who was like claiming that he raped her or whatever, just came out and said, actually, I made that up. And it's like, okay, well, that's fucked up. Like,
right.
You admitted, like the girl who claimed my friend raped her. It's like you admitted that you lied and you went to jail. Like, fuck you. You need to be held accountable for that. But like, if you don't have enough evidence to prove that someone did something when they did it, like I don't want people to not come forward. I agree that's a tough situation because it does happen. Like grapes happen. Sorry, I can't say the word on YouTube.
Yeah, I was gonna say grape.
I corrected myself, Blabs.
Essay is a good one because I find that using the
using the fruit.
Wait, I could say the term grape. See, now it's fucking me up. I'm kind of now thinking that the actual fruit is a dirty word, so I'm trying to avoid saying that.
He's never gonna buy grapes ever again.
It is so
I like grapes.
Fucking insane that we can't say certain words on this platform.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
It is the dumbest fucking shit. No, there's that
Rumble baby.
I know, but Rumble, the audience isn't as large. The G2s, G2s, there may be a day where Rumble is our home, right? And we're gonna need you guys to make the jump with us, right? Because there are things, these conversations that we have to talk about, that we're going to talk about, and it's oh my god! And
so
we can't.
To tie that actually into what we were just talking about, I think that YouTube demonetizing you or doing whatever for words that you say should be have the same type of criteria that I was going to suggest needs to be accounted for if an accuser is punished, and that would be ill intent. That if you can prove that the person did it because they wanted to hurt that guy, or because it's like, well, like fuck him, I'm going to ruin his life because he broke up with me or didn't call me back or whatever it would end up being.
Like tied into like a libel case.
Yeah, if you can prove actual ill intent, then I think that any punishment that Adam was suggesting, as far as the person doing the amount of prison time that the person they accused would have done for the actual crime, like things like that, I'd be all up for if ill intent is proven. The tricky thing is sometimes people are lying because they don't remember something properly,
Right.
and like that, I don't know that that person is necessarily
Or they
worth
convince
punishing if it's
themselves
like,
of
well,
something.
say these two people, like Kavanaugh, I think is not a bad example. Say these two people had an encounter at a party together 30 years ago. And the guy was like, yeah, I got drunk and made out with some girl that I don't know. Like I tend to go for 6s and she was a 2. Like I'm sorry guys, okay, make
Right.
fun of me all you want kind of deal. Like that is the kind of thing that like people will say you have a story that's happening, but it's very possible that from the other end it was like, yeah, this drunk guy was just all over me and I was telling him to stop and he was acting like I was into him, and that he was telling me that he didn't want, like he was just really creepy, and like that both of those people could be telling the truth, and they might frame it in a way that seems further away from the actual truth or the legal truth. I think is probably the good distinction to make there.
So prohibition, bring prohibition back. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So it would just everyone lives in pods, eats bugs, no alcohol,
We'll get there
no
soon.
sex ever.
So I
will mate
remember
in tubes.
when I was 5,
Ew!
my parents
Ew!
my
I mean,
parents had
that's
this
how I
I'm on
view
full
argument.
screen,
Labs.
Craig.
It's not that gross.
Mate and
When
two.
I was
Sorry,
like-
yes, Trav.
When I was like
Right,
5, I remember this huge argument my parents had, and I remember them screaming at each other about this, and it was about an episode of Star Trek. And I know this, my mom's gonna be so mad that I told this story, and it was the episode about the truth. And my dad was arguing that there is the absolute truth, and my mom was arguing there's the truth as a matter of perspective to each person, and there
Sounds
may
like
be
my
an
truth.
Right. There may be an absolute truth, but nobody will ever know it because your perspective, the truth to you is colored by your perspective. Right.
I was gonna say they're both right.
Right. And that's what I told him when I grew up and when I remembered the conversation. But it was in the episode of Star Trek, literally this woman said, Commander Riker tried to rape me. And from his perspective, she came in and locked the door. From her perspective, he came in and locked the door. Nobody remembered. You know what I mean? So what is the truth? Who knows? She may have convinced herself that is the truth. My grandma was a queen at that.
Well, I think you see that all the time where people think they have their truth and then they repeat it over and over and over again to where they eventually
Slightly
believe it.
changes every time too.
Yeah. And whether they, sometimes lies are their truth and they lie continuously until they ultimately believe it.
DSP.
Listen, we're not.
I'm sorry. What are we talking about?
It's like the
There's
game of
something in my throat.
telephone. You whisper in someone's ear and it just keeps going and changes and it goes and goes and goes.
Mhm. Right. Curious.
got you, Adam.
In that show, Trav, did they show what actually happened in the show, or did they whenever?
They did get down to the end of it, and it was an amalgamation of all the stories put together in the end, and that is kind of what happens.
There's here, and there's here. Right. Of
Right.
course. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. Extra Zero came in with the $4.99 super chat. Says, "I'm glad that people are saying innocent until proven guilty, but I'm sad that this isn't the norm." Then then Ezra Miller gets to be a leading man. Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah.
2023, baby.
Crazy DK says, I hate when men get caught in these situations and they are innocent. It angers me.
I think any person who gets caught in those situations. But I
Correct.
mean, more so men, because men just don't get the recognition they deserve.
GK comes in with a $5 super chat. Says, my bud's ex-wife. This is just crazy. My bud's ex-wife inflicted wounds on herself and told cops she was beaten. Thankfully, her parents informed the cops she lied. If they never did, ... Right. GK, man, that's crazy. Like beating yourself up to, oh my gosh. It's just
That's so awful.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's also pretty easy for
You guys-
medical professionals to tell when a wound is self-inflicted.
Yeah, you guys remember that? Not to get political, but that Scar girl during the 2009 election, where she wrote the B on her face and
no.
said she was assaulted.
What?
Yeah,
I don't remember this.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
it was a girl who cut her face and said she was assaulted by a bunch of black guys, and and they wrote Obama on her face. And it was,
What?
yeah, it was just
Sounds
her.
like
She did it to herself.
extreme Jussie Smollett.
Dang, I never heard this.
Yeah, it was
So-
just amazing. Crazy girl.
Wait, hold on. So this is a girl who cut her own face?
Yeah, yeah. Let me see what her name.
I never heard this. Where was I? In a
This,
hole?
this is the Ashley Todd mugging hoax. That's apparently what I'm looking at right here. So
Is that it? Yeah.
I guess, but I'd never heard this. But then, once again, I've never been a political
Fascinating,
person.
isn't it?
Yeah. I never been a political person. So like something happened in 2008, I did not pay a whole lot of attention to. So, oh yeah, here it is right here. Wow, that's crazy. Let's see. Like she actually has a bee on her face, and she got all beat up. Let's
Yeah,
see.
she did it to herself. She knocked herself around, and then cut a bee in her face.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Dedication.
Well,
That's
she got her
crazy.
50 minutes of fame, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
she sure did.
Jeez. Apparently, she got tossed in jail with her. Oh, that's not an orange jumpsuit. That's just an orange hoodie.
So
Okay.
on the cheek there, those are probably her own knuckles going like this.
Hey, and if you
And,
pay attention, she did it backwards because she was looking in a mirror. The dumb bitch.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So much dedication, she fucked it up.
All right.
Now she has a backwards bee on her cheek forever.
Hey, she'd be a Twitter star today. Just
Yep.
how insane she is. It's
She did it
crazy.
in the wrong time period.
Golly, been viral. Hey, speaking of crazy things that are viral, God, who was that? Remember that on Dr. Phil, that lady who was like, "Let's take it outside. How about that?" Remember that? Remember that girl?
Cash me outside.
Cash
How
me
about
outside.
that?
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
was.
I
Like,
think
you
she's
know,
a millionaire now, actually.
Yeah, she is.
She does OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Ew.
Like,
She's one of their
Uh,
top 10
well,
creators.
it was a big story when it happened. I think she turned 18, and then there was a big like OnlyFans thing where her first month she made something like $4 million. Like,
Wow.
and you're just like, oh my
Ew.
god, that's a lot of creepy people, man. Her
Agreed.
setting a
That
timer on a
is.
17-year-old's 18th birthday.
Yeah, it's funny because she's talked about that exact thing afterwards, and she said, "Well, if all these creepy ass men want to wait until I turn 18, I'm gonna make money off of them." I'm like, okay, well, do you? Okay.
Time to
Yeah.
leave Earth.
Yikes.
Time
This is
to
an exit.
abandon ship.
$1 million on day one on OnlyFans. Like,
Wow. I'm sorry, she's not even that beautiful to actually. No, what the
Oh,
Yo,
it
fuck?
stop,
shows
People are nuts.
stop giving,
shows you what a
giving
boost you
women
can
money
get
on
from-
OnlyFans, please.
Yeah,
Men,
no.
boys, they're not
Shows
men,
you
they're
what a
boys.
boost you can get from a little bit of infamy too. Huh? Like she wasn't even famous for something like
Positive. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
really
like
famous
she-
for being a bitch.
well, she was a
Giving
meme.
an attitude.
She was just a meme. She had
that's-
an appearance on a show where she said something in a funny way and it became a catchphrase. Did you ever see the Simpsons episode where Bart becomes the "I didn't do it" boy?
Say
and,
the
like, he
line,
becomes-
Bart.
Yeah, like
Say
it's
the line.
it's
Yeah, you're
that
right.
effect. She was the "Cash Me Outside, how about that" girl. And I mean, like, to be fair, and good on her, she definitely spun that into what will be enough money for her to comfortably live the rest of her life if she's smart with it. She's probably not going to be.
which she won't be. Of
Yeah,
course
most
not.
people aren't. You know what? Though she's done nothing to me to show me that she will be irresponsible with her money. I hope if she has a good amount of money now, best advice I can give to whatever your name is, Cash Me Outside girl, save it. Just
Apparently, she turned it into a lucrative rap career. Apparently, she's a rapper now, and she makes big bucks doing it. So good move.
I mean, you know,
Cool.
Whatever.
I don't
to each
understand
their
modern
own.
music, so sure. I've definitely become an old curmudgeon when it comes to music. I like very few new albums, and most of the ones I do like are from bands I already liked from a long time ago, and now are out. So
Hey, Tunberry Master says, I give money to Craig, but he never takes his clothes off.
yet
Here you go. Just a
That
little.
you know about.
Just a little.
Show off that pocket.
he's an,
It's very
There you go.
uncomfortable
He's
after
a
the
never
stream
nude.
ends. You guys have no idea. The stream ends and he's like, "Woo! I can
This is-
finally take this stuff off."
Man, we need
Just
HR in the house and everything.
Oh man. Metastep says, "Hey, Catch Me Outside Girl is a dope rapper."
Get him out of
Seriously?
chat. Get out of here,
I'll take
Metastep.
your word for it.
No. Uh-uh.
I
Alright,
mean, I've
get him
never
out.
heard any of her music, so I can't really say. For all I know, I might really like her.
Guys, if you're just popping in, you always want to hear the story about how Blabs was jailed over the weekend. We'll get to that in just a minute. But we got a couple more quick hits before we go. Did you guys hear that Nintendo's next big game, Tears of the Kingdom is getting 10 minutes of gameplay tomorrow. So
Oh, it's tomorrow that's happening. Okay.
Yeah, we'll check that out tomorrow. So
Cool.
we'll see how that looks. I'm sure we'll get flagged for copyright on that. Also, do you guys recall a couple months ago when Jeremy Renner was run over by a snowplow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he posted an update on his Instagram, and it's actually looking pretty good. He's
seriously cool, and you're totally doing.
They thought
Oh
he'd
wow,
never.
he's
yeah,
walking.
they thought he'd never walk again. So
well, he's walking, and this is about 40% of his weight. They said this is like a anti-grav
Balloon
harness,
thingy, yeah.
So
Yeah.
pretty good stuff. Like, congratulations to him. You know, he's explaining it to this guy in this really plush looking super rich recovery place, which is great. Good for him. They thought he was gonna lose legs and not be able to walk anymore. So let alone be an action star. So the fact that he's up and going, I think that's pretty damn cool. So good for Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, good for Jeremy.
Good for Jeremy. Yeah.
Don't try to take my thing, Renner. Go
Let-
back
let-
to shooting bows
let
and
him know,
arrows.
Mark.
What happened? I mean, you talked about skateboarding when you were younger last time you were on the show, and I
Oh,
was
I had
curious.
an ankle ligament reconstruction surgery, and it didn't heal so well. Probably that's the simplest version of it. But yeah, in 2017, I had my surgery on my ankle after several years of injuring it severely, more and more severely, and probably healing worse and worse over time. And then, enough time in the military, and you start injuring it repeatedly, and then go to get surgery, and sometimes your tibial artery gets cut and your foot dies.
Was it their fault?
That I can't really comment on yet. It's
Oh,
still
I see.
Oh.
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess pending.
Can I? Okay, so taking the legal side of it out of it, what was that like? Well, like
Not fun.
when they said like, hey, look, you're gonna lose your leg or part of your leg, like what what went through your mind?
I mean, it didn't really happen in that order. I guess the best way to describe it is that amputation was floated as a possibility after it was determined that I was not getting proper circulation to my foot, and my foot had effectively died. But they were trying to save the foot by giving me first a fasciotomy, which is the casing of your muscle is called the fascia, and a fasciotomy, if you know what an otomy is, they opening up holes in the casing of your muscle and make it so that hopefully oxygenated blood was able to get in there. Basically, I woke up and it looked like my leg was attacked by a shark. I was handcuffed to an ICU bed and had a tube down my throat.
Oh,
The
wow.
handcuffs were pretty necessary though, because the first thing I wanted to do was rip the tube out of my throat. It was like, you ever see the movie Fire in the Sky? Kind of felt
No.
like the last bit of that movie, but it was humans, and instead of being another person that I was feeling bad for, it was me. So yeah, that was pretty rough. And then they went to put me in a hyperbaric chamber to like get oxygenated blood flow to the tissue again, which was really horrible. It was like 2 hours in a place where I couldn't be on an intravenous, so I was just on oral pain medications. And when you've had a fasciotomy in your lower limb, it's pretty rough to not be on both ketamine and morphine. Hey, puppy.
Puppies.
But yeah, and so then when I got back from my first round of what was supposed to be 1 week of hyperbaric chamber twice a day, 2 hours each session, and the first one they're like, okay, you got to do Valsalva maneuvers constantly so that you don't your tympanic membranes, your eardrums don't rupture because of the pressure changes in the hyperbaric chamber, and that over extended periods of time you can start having visual disturbances and damage to your eyesight. So I just asked one of the residents that was taking care of me in the Jojo. Puppies are fighting over me. I asked one of the residents, hey, like if this hyperbaric chamber therapy goes perfectly, like miraculously better than it could possibly go, how much of my foot are we looking at saving at this point? And she was a younger girl, and I guess didn't have the like Jojo super bedside manner to be ultra nice about everything, and she's like about 30% and definitely no toes, and then I'm just like, cut it off. I
Wow.
was like, there's no point. I was like, I'm still gonna have my crappy ankle, and sorry, I'll just move the Chihuahua out of her way.
Do you mind like?
Jojo.
So I'm like really intrigued by this, and I hope you don't mind me like
Yeah, no,
asking
I talk
questions.
about it all the time. It's okay.
But like,
I know-
did you after it was removed? Did you go through any like mourning period where you like? was it-
Not exactly. I mean, realistically, after the actual Jojo, stop crying. Come on. After the amputation itself, I felt a lot better because I was in blinding pain for about 10 days. That was finally done.
So you're-
And actually, funny that we're talking about Tears of the Kingdom and the Switch and everything. It was actually about 6 days after I got out of the hospital that the girl who I was dating at the time brought me to a Walmart, and we picked up a Switch and Breath of the Wild, and that's what I played in my in the hospital waiting rooms for a very long time.
I know you can't say anything, but I'm gonna say I'm not sure how it wasn't that whoever was operating on you's fault.
Yeah, I just can't comment on it. 'Cause it's
Yes.
still kind of an ongoing
I'm going to
investigation.
say-
So me saying anything about it will do nothing but cause me problems
Yeah.
for
Right.
later. so
That's
I'm
what
just
I
gonna-
said, not
Right.
him.
Well, then let's leave it right there. But I think it's like an interesting conversation to have because that's
Mhm.
something that I spent a year working with military folks, and several of them have had pretty catastrophic injuries to their bodies, and as somebody who is fortunately has all 10 toes, 10 fingers, and all my limbs, like I feel really fortunate about that. But I've never had the opportunity to ask somebody that you only hear about these things. So just out of my own ignorance, I'm curious.
It does
So-
sometimes kind of depress me when I think about the fact that I also lost 5 toes.
Why-
Because you kind of think of it as one leg.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
just like, oh man, I lost 5 toes too. That sucks. you-
Crazy T wants to know when we're playing Mario Kart. You guys put that off for some days now. Yes, we're gonna play Mario Kart on Friday. We were gonna do it a couple weeks ago. Then the DSP thing happened, and we didn't promote it good last week. But we're gonna do that this Friday. So
Mhm.
Mario Kart this Friday.
I'm whooping Adam's ass. Happening. He laughs, but he doesn't know.
Oh, blabs.
You don't even know.
You don't
Black
even know, bro.
Black Mage came in with the $5 super chat. Says, but is the snowplow okay? Asking about Jeremy Renner. Yes. I think the
Snowplows can take a lot
snowplow
of
is
damage.
what's that? No, they do not.
Oh, they can.
Well, I mean, not when rolling over a human body. I can't imagine unless it's.
Oh
you know-
no, I said they can take a lot of damage.
Oh
Like,
yes.
they can,
Okay.
they can absorb.
All right. Let's get into what everybody really wants to know about today. The thumbnail, the title
Yeah.
of today's episode.
Need to know.
Blabs is a filthy, filthy criminal.
Yes.
Let's go to Twitter and check this out. Blabs. Well, how about you tell us, then we'll get into it.
Right. So over the weekend, I was playing with my friends from college, and we were playing some Star Wars Battlefront 2 on Xbox. Now we were having a good time. We were slaying bitches. We were winning rounds. You do you. And then we got this one round where these guys managed to keep separating me from my team. No matter what I was doing, I was always getting like separated by myself, and it was always a 3v1. So naturally, I wasn't really having a good chance of winning. So we lost that round. And I didn't really care about it. Just move on to the next one. But this one dude decided to DM me a laughing emoji because he had won. Well, if you're gonna talk shit, expect to get shit back. So I DM'd him saying I fucked your daddy. Well, he didn't like that.
Oh my
He didn't
god.
like
Classic lobby talk right there.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't like it. So if you pull up the tweet, I got suspended for it because he reported me. He couldn't take it.
That's
So
a win
there
right
it
there.
is.
That's a win. You just won.
It's kind of a badge of honor at a certain point, right?
It's my first ever suspension. I was laughing my ass off.
For
Yes,
full,
the details. I fucked your daddy, baby boy. I got suspended.
Oh my gosh,
D-Sub's
dude.
right. You went hard on that. That's good. It's good.
I'm like, he was a dick because look what he wrote back saying, enjoy that band, baby girl. Daddy just banned you, pack no cap. I was like, you fucker.
Well, there it is right
Then
there.
it gets worse.
Hold on. Xbox still lets you message someone after they've banned them on your report?
I
Yeah,
guess
that's
so.
Yeah.
crazy.
And if you
What
scroll
the
down
fuck?
more, I updated the thread this morning because I didn't know it, but he had DM'd me again. Look at that shitter. Look what he did.
What do you say?
You- I mean,
Look at
like,
it.
Yeah.
Look.
Isn't that
you don't exactly
harassment?
want to start a tattletale battle, but at the same time, like sending this to Xbox, be like, hey, yo, this is the guy that reported me, by the way. He's still messaging me. Can you make him stop?
Oh,
Right,
I
it's
sent
harassment
I
at that
sent a
point.
report saying this is harassment because the dude knew I can't respond. He's like, "What's up, kiddo?"
Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, I'm not a kid. Second of all, he's like, "You kind of quiet, ha ha ha." He's like, "Oh, you ain't talking now, huh? All right, I got you banned, ha ha ha." LOL. I was like, "You wee fucker."
It's abusing the
To bring this
system.
back to what we were talking
Yeah.
about earlier, that message proves ill intent.
There it is.
So it does.
So he should be
So I
banned.
reported
for-
him, and you know what? My
Yeah.
2
friends
years.
reported him too because he sent everybody emojis. One of my guy friends was like, "Don't respond because you're just gonna get in trouble." I was like, "Nah, fuck this guy." And I was like, "I fucked your daddy," and you know.
Yeah,
Hey,
like
fight the
I mean,
system,
the
Blabs.
point is though, this guy wasn't actually offended by Blabs having sex with
No.
his dad.
Of course
he was
not.
offended because
No, he knew that he could
he
get her
just
banned
wanted
for
to
it.
fight back, and he fought dirty. He ran
Yep.
to the teacher and said,
Yep.
"She called me an asshole."
Yep. I
He
mean,
was
if you're gonna
upset.
talk shit on like Call of Duty, Xbox, whatever, expect to get shit back and take it like a man. Instead, this punk ass bitch went crying to terms.
Okay,
of
but
service.
like Blabs, answer the question we all want to know: how was his dad in bed?
he was pretty shit, to be honest.
Oh, damn.
I'll try
There you
his
go,
uncle
buddy.
next.
Your
We'll see what
dad
happens.
sucks in
Uh-oh.
Take them all out.
Uh-oh. So this is Blabs now has an official rival.
Yes.
And the rival's name is EZDXSVI.
Fuck you, Easy VX, whatever the hell your name is.
Embarrassing.
Oh man.
Uh,
Look, we are absolutely not saying that you should follow this guy on Xbox and let him know what a piece of shit he is.
send him hate.
Don't-
No, don't actually go and harass him, guys.
Don't do
That's
that.
not cool. That's just bullying, but fuck this guy.
Well, like I said, you bullied a bully and then they banned you for it. That
I
doesn't
know,
make any
right?
fucking sense.
I even
No, they
reported for
used-
harassment. They just
abused
didn't
the
even
system.
care.
They abused the system to bully. That's what they did.
Mhm.
Hey, GF
Yeah,
Raptor fan.
they utilized the system in order to commit bullying.
Just hey, Mark, did you know you got gifted a sub on the channel by
no, I
GF
didn't.
Raptor
Yeah.
fan? Isn't that great?
I should comment something in here
Nice.
to see my thing. But
Over on
thank you very
Twitch, yeah.
much.
And Coburn came up 100
Ooh,
bits. Says,
there.
"Are you considering making a Twitch account called Screw Attack Resurrected, or would it be copyright problem due to Metroid games called the Samus Jump for Screw Attack?" No, I'm not doing that at all, Coburn. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Manny Ichi wants to know, Blabs, did you at least buy his daddy a drink first?
Nah.
No, just hard and raw. There it is, Blabs. Blabs is in it, ready to go.
His dad was a booty call.
Good
Didn't
lord.
even have dinner with him.
Oh my God. Hey, a lot of people have been asking about, not a lot. I've had several people ask about, we talked about adding the Mario bar on the bottom of the screen. That should be coming here in the next little bit. So hang tight. It should be
Oh,
done
that's
here
dope.
very soon. So I thought this would be a really good opportunity, by the way, to take a glimpse down memory boulevard here. I found a video from this guy called the Act Man. He has 1.7 million subscribers. And we're going to watch a little bit of this video because it's about Xbox 360 chat and how wild it was. I thought it'd be fun to kind of relive some of these things. Because I
Is it
feel
safe-
like,
is it safe for YouTube?
well, it's
Yeah,
safe enough.
Ackman's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
And he's more or less talking. We're just going to watch probably, I don't know, 30 seconds, maybe a minute of this and just kind of react because it talks about some of the fun that was the Xbox 360 lobby. Because I think the 360 lobby, it's more of a meme now at this point, but anybody who lived through a 360 lobby truly understands what it was like back then. It was definitely a different time. So let's check this out really quick. And there we go. Let's see this video real fast.
Somewhere along the road, this social experiment went disastrously wrong. Xbox 360 chat was wild. It was the Wild West.
Hey, you're just mad because I'll be able to do something with my fucking guitar in hands that you'll never be able to achieve in your entire life, kid. So yeah, you're gay.
that he plays.
That's
Right.
incredible.
Oh
Right.
my god,
awesome.
that's funny.
Just busted that out. Yeah. It's
It's the perfect amount of shitty cover of Enter Sandman too. It's like just off enough. No, but like what I mean is it's got. I don't mean that as an insult. Actually, I kind of mean in that it's got a lot of character the way he played it, because it sounds like a guy that just kind of plays guitar in his spare time. You know.
I just like the
check
idea
this out, bro. Bam, bam. Like he's like a little off time. I liked it.
just the just the idea that he was so upset. He's like, you know what? Fuck this guy. He went up and he got his guitar out just for that. Slowly plugged it into his amp. He's like, this is gonna teach this guy, and that's what he came out with. So let's continue on here.
But let's be honest. While there were some good and even great times to be had here, there was also a lot of horrible things said to other human beings.
Every single person who watches your videos are fucking stupid. They're fucking ignorant little cunts.
Is him gonna delete his own channel?
But you really got to admire
the
Xbox
song.
Live in the
What's that?
The song's from Dark Souls.
Yeah, from Dark
It's,
Souls. Yep.
Last boss theme.
I love the way English people say cunts.
It's just so classy, right? It's such
Yeah.
a foul word, and it's like, it makes it a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
We'll continue on.
platform because of the way it just inspired people to be so creative with their insults and express their hatred. Ha ha ha. You fucking Canadian, go sleep in your igloo. All Canadians live in igloos. I remember learning that in school. Oh, look at this piece of art.
I really appreciate this one personally. I think it's really creative.
It's so creative. Wow.
The little hair
Wow, it's-
things.
I
They
agree,
even
I
got
agree.
hair on them.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
Very profound. Makes me think of flowers. I would say your aim is cancer, but cancer actually kills people.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's really funny.
That's yeah. Ooh,
It's
still brutal.
It's brutal. It's brutal, man. But this is Xbox 360 lobbies at its core for sure. And you think any of these people got banned?
No, definitely not.
No.
This was pre people being able to ban people.
People got soft.
Everyone got soft.
Everyone gets suspended now.
If
Ridiculous.
you don't, what happened? Yeah, it's
Homie's gonna be needing some water for that one.
I'm super hot, boy.
People got so inventive with their insults and trash talking, it became an art form. It must have been a sad day when you slithered out of the abortion bucket.
Oh,
okay.
damn.
Wow.
God.
Damn.
That was the most brutal thing I've ever read. Hello,
That's one
this
hell
is
of
a
an
message
image.
from the
What's that?
That's one hell of a mental image, man.
It's the
Yeah.
worst.
Jeez.
Condom Factory. We would like to apologize for the broken condom that led to your birth. From yours truly, the Trojan Man. I guess trying to make people feel like they shouldn't have been born is just like stabbing them with a knife, dude. I'm going to travel back in time, find a dinosaur egg, bring it back to the future, sit on it till it hatches, raise it, love it, and then watch it mangle your lifeless and helpless carcass while I touch myself inappropriately.
Excuse me. Anyways,
Wow.
people were pretty creative.
Yeah.
Pretty creative with that time. You know, it's only a decade ago that this was happening. And
And now we have soy boys who can't even handle one insult. They can dish it, but they can't take it.
gosh.
My,
Mm-mm-mm.
have we fallen?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we also got cat girls out of the deal though, so you know.
Cat
I-
girls.
No, I'm
you
not
mean
a
like
fan.
furries? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
no, I'm kidding. Don't.
I hope you're kidding.
Well, I mean, you know, Extra Girl's a cat girl in Final Fantasy 14 when she plays it, and looks all right.
Okay, yeah, in a game. What?
I don't know. I think if Extra
Oh
Girl
my
had
God.
cat ears, I'd still probably be into her though.
Yikes.
Anyway,
I'm not saying it's a
So-
prerequisite. I'm saying I would still probably love my wife if she had cat ears. I don't think that's an
basically, if she took a
inappropriate
polyjuice
statement.
potion and it was a cat hair, he'd be okay with it.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Mark, I
She's still
stand
my
with you.
wife. Like,
I stand with that statement. You love your wife regardless of if she has cat ears.
yeah.
Hey, speaking of animals, let's go one last quick hit. Oh, Blabs, is there anything else to your story that you wanted to wrap up with about
No,
your
I
time
mean
in jail?
I'm suspended. They said 2 days, but the funny thing was that was yesterday. My suspension apparently ends tonight, like 7 p.m. Eastern. So I got like 6 hours left until I'm free.
You should
Now,
live.
are you gonna message him back?
I kind of want to, but I'm also afraid. Like, what if I get suspended again? Like, what are they gonna do to my Xbox account? Like,
I don't think you should message him back. I think,
yeah,
No,
I
I
should
know,
just
I'm
let him
just kidding.
go.
like memes aside, jokes aside, I think just I
I
honestly
think I
think
just
though
ignore him.
the correct
I've
action
already
probably
reported
would be
him.
to report him because what he's doing is harassment, and he probably should be told to not at the very least. If not,
He's
like
just some
I don't want his
basement dweller
account
living in
banned
their
forever. I'm not
parents'
advocating that. I want to be
obese.
clear, but I think that if you do something like abuse power and then get someone punished as a result of it, and then go and like gloat to
Flaunt
them
it,
on
yeah,
that same
gloat.
platform, yeah, you're the type of person that deserves to have the hammer dropped on you. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Like
Blabs,
that's-
you definitely should not engage with Easy DX VSI on Xbox.
Me
Don't-
personally.
You definitely should not do that. And if you do, Blabs, you're a bad person.
and everyone else should also not do anything.
Definitely
because
don't do that.
I'm saying
We are
clearly,
certainly not
no, do
advocating
not,
for
actually.
any of that.
No,
No.
absolutely not.
I'm
Don't-
actively advocating against it. I want to be clear.
Absolutely, absolutely. At 100%.
We are too. What do you mean?
Yes.
That's what we're saying.
Don't do that. Don't be a piece of shit. Don't do that. It's ridiculous. Anyways,
Mike's like, what?
Literally though, like that's all I'm saying. I'm like, no, I actually don't want a person to be harassed, but
I agree.
I do think the person should be reported though for
Yeah,
for
I
harassment.
reported him. I know one of the guys I was with also reported him. I think the other one did too. We're all like, "Fuck you."
I think you're the only one who would need to because they could.
Well,
look
no,
at those
because
DMs
he
and
messaged them
immediately
too.
Be like, okay, yeah, this is clear cut. Like this
Get outta
guy's
here.
this guy's abusing the system clearly. If you look
Mhm.
if you look at those messages and know that they were sent after he reported you and got you suspended, that's like he's telling on himself on a platform that
Yeah.
the people who have the power to do the banning have full access to.
Right.
If anything, I feel kind of sorry
Ridiculous.
for this kid now because he's apparently retarded.
Yeah, I'm guessing he lives in his mom and dad's
Hard
basement. He's
R
like
coming
4,000
out.
pounds. Never
That's
sees
not
his
the
son.
hard R. Don't be Linus. Besides, I'm disabled. I can say that.
Okay. Tree KO Blunt came in with a 220 super chat. Says, "Ayo, yo, daddy, love that 17-inch BBC strap on."
Wow.
Lord,
Hey, we didn't say what color it was.
That's true. Good point. Good point. All
But,
right.
but if stereotypes are something to believe, it wasn't white.
It came in multiple colors, if I recall.
Oh, hey, you know, they
Taste the
don't
rainbow.
discriminate. I like it.
Lord. All right. Let's do one last quick hitter before we get out of here. Speaking of 17 inches, let's do a quick hitter here. Finish up with I saw this and just like I kind of rolled my eyes and I was like, okay, well, we'll talk about this today. So apparently on an Amazon show, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, a horse died during
Oh
filming.
yeah,
So
I saw this.
So PETA has said that Amazon and everyone should stop using real animals after the horse died. Right. And I thought, wow, you know, I'm an animal lover. I love animals. I love dogs. I love cats. I love horses. Like I said, I just spent the last week caring for a dog who's been sick. By the way, Lucy's going to pull through.
Yeah.
Yeah, right
Hi,
on.
Lucy.
Great
But-
news.
But I saw this and my first thought was like, do you think PETA realizes, like, and I'm an animal lover. I want to preface that one more time. I love animals. I'm just not in love with animals, right? I think there's a on the food chain side of things. There's a sequence.
Hierarchy.
Yeah, there's a hierarchy. But do they realize that like the reason why things are written about this is because it's like an anomaly, and honestly, most people are just kind of laughing at them at how stupid they sound.
Question:
PETA,
what's the
PETA?
context of this horse dying?
That's my first question.
It's good question. Good
Because
question.
if it was just some natural thing, then what's the problem? If it's being abused, obviously steps need to be taken, and there are things that protect animals. What's her face's name? Temple Grandin, I think she is. She has an advocate for animal welfare. PETA would know nothing about this shit because PETA actually kills and euthanizes more animals that they actually rescue. Fun fact about them.
This is true.
PETA is literally an abomination to actually kind of like a terrorist.
I would say it's probably pretty likely though if the horse was a like a cinema horse and was being used for stunts and action
Yeah, maybe
scenes.
the stunt went wrong. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was probably, I'm going to guess, a matter of mismanagement. I think if it, like old horses that need to be put out to pasture and are going to die of natural causes are generally not the ones that you send to be in
Here we
a
go.
movie, you know? Like,
According to Nick, who has 1,457 Twitter followers, he says the horse died during morning exercises from a heart attack. Just natural causes, not on set.
Okay, then what's PETA
there you
have
go.
to do about that shit?
Yeah, well,
PETA literally murders animals. Fuck off, PETA. Anyway, it's fine.
Well, and what do they expect? So are we going to put them like on cardboard horses with wheels and then roll them around on the beach and then film it
Exactly.
and put in like a CG horse, or like we're just not going to have horses in anything anymore? So
yeah,
when
honestly,
we-
after it's funny that like I just now realize that what I'm doing on my second monitor is tied into what we're actually talking about. The cinematics in Diablo 3 made me think that actors might not even be necessary pretty soon because man, they look pretty good. I gotta say. Like,
Diablo
I-
3?
and that would be the end state. Because if you're saying that okay, you can't have real horses in a movie, it's like okay, well that means no one can ever ride a horse in a movie, which means we can't have westerns, we can't have medieval
Yeah.
fantasy movies, or if we can, we need to computer animate all of this. And I think
Well,
at a
I-
certain point, if you're computer animating everything but the people, you can actually do a lot more for immersion in the movie if you just computer animate the people as well.
I don't know,
See.
man. I had a friend who executive produced Black Beauty. You guys know the movie Black? You heard
Really?
Black?
Yeah, a horse
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the horse movie.
Something from
I
the
think I
90s,
think
eh?
it was a Disney film. It was kind of like wasn't really well known, but they did it, and I follow her and watched how she did it, and man, they had like really beautiful horses, and like the horses
Mhm.
were obviously the main attraction. It was all about a horse. It was Black Beauty, so I mean, and she talked about like how they spent so much time making sure the horses were good and that everything was
Well,
just
I
up
think
to standards for the horses. Yeah, this movie right here. I
Yeah,
know
I was
who,
about to say,
who
It's
the only-
illegal
produced
to
this one.
not meet the standards.
Yeah,
you're working
and
with
that's
animals.
the thing. I think that most animals, if they're in a Hollywood production and are a Hollywood production that is being held to the animal treatment standards on like production standards that Hollywood needs to adhere to, then those animals are probably having a better life than most other animals in their
Yeah,
species.
exactly.
yeah.
Like, most horses are not super happy animals, man.
they're
Like,
treated better than the actors most time.
Oh
Probably.
yeah, like they're spoiled. They have to be like. I mean, the horse is really important, and it's really hard to train them, right? So it's
yeah,
not you
like
just
that's
find
the
a
thing, like,
random
it's not
horse.
just
They have to
normal
be
ass
trained.
horses that go out there. They need to be very well trained because they have to, they have to cooperate with a camera, and
Mhm.
cameras are limited by time, and that
And you have to
you
keep them
start
happy
recording,
too.
and every single second of useless footage that you film is more time that you have to sift through things in post. So it's
Lost them money
if
too.
you have a horse that's being uncooperative and you have to film a scene over 8 hours that you could have shot in 2, that's a really big deal.
Mhm.
It's a lot of money lost.
Uh-oh. We have oh, Lord. I have another update from a story we had last week. PETA's at it again, as they have sent a message to Keenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell after the Good Burger 2 announcement.
Oh my gosh, what?
What do you think? What do you think they said? What do you really think they said?
The burgers
Uh,
better be made of bugs. Or
That's right.
Well, are they wait,
Vegan
are they
burger.
against bugs? Because bugs are alive too, aren't they?
Well, they're looking for a vegan burger. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the vegan burger. Can I take your order? That's what PETA. That's what we have at PETA in mind for Good Burger. Good Burger 2. Oh my God. Some things like
JoJo
beef
does
patties.
not like that.
I'm with JoJo on that.
Yeah, I'm with JoJo. Fuck PETA.
Some things like beef patties are better left in the 90s. And if Good Burger has any hope of surviving new competition in 2023, its menu will abundantly feature animal-free offerings, including meat-free burgers, dairy-free shakes, and of course, a secret vegan sauce.
Okay, to have that as an option, okay, but you can't tell me that to change the movie of Good Burger, which is literally about a burger chain, to vegan shit is going to fit the story and work.
Oh, they're gonna do it. Watch it though.
The irony of all this is that the story of Good Burger is that it's Good Burger versus the rival big chain. And what's the big chain doing? They're putting all sorts of chemicals and shit into the meat, which makes it bigger and bigger and bigger and unhealthy, which is exactly what's happening when you're having one of those bullshit Beyond Meat burgers. It's just all sorts of bullshit in there with, oh, it's crazy, man. That stuff is so not good for you. It's crazy. Anyways.
If you'd have told me when I watched that movie, however, 20 years ago, whatever it was, that this is what we would be talking about 20 years from then, I'd have probably laughed my ass off and thought you're crazy.
Well, there's a lot of things that you could laugh your ass off about that we didn't think were reality 5 years ago that are reality now. So, hey, give it up for Tunberry Master coming in with the $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate that. Says, have a great day, everyone. Hey, thank you very much. We genuinely appreciate that. That is awesome. God dang. I'm curious, is anybody in our chat, anybody vegan in our chat? And just kind of curious. I tried to do the vegan thing for about a year, and I realized I was a horrible vegetarian and vegan. Horrible. Because all I was doing was, I was like, well, I'm not going to have that meat. Instead, I'll have some extra noodles. So all I was doing was eating carbohydrates and carbs and carbs and carbs and carbs and carbs. I ended up gaining like 20 pounds over the course of a year because I was supposed to eat less meat, but instead I was just eating all sorts of noodles and rice and carbohydrates, which, whatever. So,
well, I don't know if you know this about me, Craig.
No,
but I've been vegan for the past 5 years.
Oh, really?
And just recently started eating eggs again. And so I'm technically not vegan anymore, although I don't have any dairy products at all, and I don't eat meat.
Ovo-lacto vegetarian. Baby.
Do you not eat meat because is it a moral thing, or do you think it's more of a healthy thing?
From what I've seen, I just want to state that every single person on this planet, every human being needs to find what's best for them. Like, there's people eating the carnivore diet. I don't give a fuck what other people eat. And people get so triggered when I talk about like my diet, and it works for me. I feel good. And I read some stuff that meat isn't good for humans, and I don't agree with that statement, but I personally feel great. And something odd too, animals act differently around me now that I don't eat meat. I'm not joking. I really feel like animals can smell that I'm not something that consumes them. I don't know. It's weird to say that, but I truly feel that.
Witchcraft.
Yo, I think they could smell it. Like, oh, you're not, you don't, I don't have to like I could trust you more because you don't eat, you're not going to eat me.
Stay away from my puppies.
I mean, I could
Wait,
absolutely.
why? I'm not going to eat your Wait, the fuck? I don't eat meat. Why?
No.
Why?
I'm not worried about you eating them. I just don't want them loving anyone more than me.
Oh, okay.
I like how the dog was just growling into the microphone. Some ASMR there.
JoJo's been so cranky.
Yeah,
JoJo, what are you even cranky about right now? What's
I
happening?
did it for health reasons, not for the
Nothing.
moral reasons. Although once you find out how like most things are processed,
right?
Like factory farms are so gross, and the conditions there are gross. Like my eggs come from a farm, like, and I'm gonna have chickens, and I'm gonna eat my eggs from my own chickens, and I think farm fresh eggs that are legitimately from like someone goes out and picks up the eggs and sells you those eggs. Like, those eggs taste better.
They
They're
do,
just, there's
100%.
something about them that instead of these 10 million chicken factory farms, all like they're free range, but there's also like the range is packed to the max, so they can't actually move anywhere.
Right.
And I don't know, they're
Support
eating their own
small
shit.
farms and local farms, guys. They
Yeah.
help. They save you. They're like the backbone.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Adam. It goes back to the idea of like, just let people do what they want to do, as long as they're old enough to, as long as they're mature enough to realize what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I think bugs are fucking gross.
Oh yeah.
Bugs are disgusting. I will never eat. But I would rather go back to eating meat than have bugs in my life. Fuck that.
Imagine like an antenna just stuck in your tooth. Ugh.
What was that movie that with the train?
There's a movie with the train. Great.
Oh,
give us more, Trav.
Chris
Thanks,
Hemsworth, or one of the Chris Evans was in it.
One of the Chris Evans.
Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer, where they were eating the bugs.
Eating
One
the
of the
bug,
Chris's.
Grossed me
Yeah, one of the
out
Chris's.
so much.
It was Chris Evans though, so I guess
That's
yeah, it
the
was one
Willy
of Chris
Wonka
Evans.
sequel, right?
Yeah.
Hayden came into the $10 super chat. Said, "Thank you very much, Hayden." Says, "Hopefully there will be a scene where somebody in a PETA shirt comes in and goes nuts about no vegan options. They can make that comedy gold. I've not considered being vegan once." Right. So I think, without going too far into it, I think that there is definitely something to be said about the way food is manufactured today and just how insane it. And I'm with you, Blabs. That the more you can support, small farms and people who are doing it the right way,
You know
the
where
better,
your
for
meat
sure.
is coming from. You know everything. You can literally go up and ask the farm, "Hey, what are you giving this cow? What's being in here?" And you know everything. And that
He's
is
not
the
a
best
cow,
part.
he's a chihuahua. He just looks like a cow.
And Craig, you said it already. Like you said you tried it, but then you just ate a bunch of processed shit. It's like that's not good for you. Like
Right.
anyway. So people who try vegan, they like don't really know what nutrients the human body needs anyway. Like you need amino acids, you need like B12 is really hard to get outside of eating meat. So you have to like purposefully get stuff that has high B12 in it and amino acids, and it's hard to find. So if you don't know what you're doing nutritional value wise, then you're kind of screwing yourself. So most people, I feel like most people who aren't vegan don't understand what good nutrients the body needs and eats processed shit anyway. So if you just like switch from processed food to just like cooking all your own shit, you're gonna feel better. Like I'm not saying like cut meat out. I'm saying eat proper food. If you eat real
just eat
good
healthy.
food, that's like eating healthy. I don't think veganism is eating healthy. I think everyone needs to find and barter with farmers and trade for like good shit and like bring it back to the roots of like community and eating proper food. Because like we're stuck in this instant gratification, quick eats. You're paying way too much money for food anyway. People don't even realize, or I'm sure there's some people that realize how expensive going to restaurants all the time. Oh, some restaurants do use proper food, but it's rare, man.
I always, when it comes to our diet, I always go back to this. This is the food pyramid that I was taught in the 80s.
Yeah.
Just how absolutely insanely wrong it is.
Same one in the 90s too.
Yeah, it's crazy. 80s and 90s. Yeah, the idea of like, hey, just eat a ton of bread and carbohydrates. They're good for you. And it's like, hey, by the way, everybody's now fat. Congratulations. It's clearly should be the almost inverse of this.
The one that I was taught had a lot more dairy too.
Yeah. So there's also this one here, which was the original food pyramid. Lots of this, lots of bread, lots of carbs. Get it in there. Just it's like you would think that
sugars.
Yeah,
get a lot of sugars in your body. It's like sugar is one of the leading causes of a lot of fucking problems, right? Like we need to eat less sugars. Humans don't need sugar. Sugar's a fucking treat. Now they put it in everything.
Yeah.
And carbs are all complex carbohydrate sugars, so they're hard for your body to break down.
Cobra
I
says,
love
like
bread.
bread, dude. Who
Everyone loves
doesn't?
bread.
Everybody
Bread is
does.
amazing.
Yes.
Bread is so good. Well, the body, humans love sugar. Sugar is a treat. It triggers something in your brain that you're like, ooh, I'm getting a treat right now. This is amazing. People are addicted to that.
Philip's right. Sugar is a drug. Sugar, caffeine, like these.
Addicting.
Yeah, it's crazy. And once you like, I've gone through portions of my life where I've been able to kick sugar, and it's amazing how your body feels like it's like firing on all cylinders. And I always felt like my body was a furnace when I was just like running on low carbohydrates, no sugar, and just like protein. Like, and my body was like, oh, I just felt like I was going. And then it really just takes like one slip. You have a piece of have a sandwich or something. All of a sudden you get this like jolt of like, oh, I like that a lot. And and you just kind of slip back into it. All of a sudden, well, I'll just, oh my God. Anyways, sorry. All right.
That
So
sounded like
here's-
personal experience there.
It's ridiculous. Yes.
Here's like my point of view. Be vegan or do whatever the hell you want, but the thing I hate the most are when vegans are like absolutely batshit insane and start spreading lies about agriculture and all in your face, trying to tell you that like farmers are bad and everything. I'm like, dude, I'm more educated in
Labs,
agriculture
hold
than
on,
you are.
hold on. I'm so sick of this fucking shit, dude. Everyone does this. Everyone does
What?
it. It's not just vegans. Everyone does
Oh,
exactly
yeah, but I'm
what
saying
you're saying.
like vegans specifically, the crazy vegans. I even specifically said the crazy vegans who are in your face telling you what you can and cannot do about like agriculture. When
so
they've
that
never
it's the
been to a
crazy
farm in their
people.
life, they don't know anything.
Yeah, it's people who are, the term I like for it is ideologically possessed.
Yeah,
It's not
yes.
vegan.
Yes.
It's not being vegan that they like. It's veganism that they like.
That's true.
They want to spread veganism, just like some people want to spread whatever their ism is. And I think the issue is often when you speak to those people, or the people who, and Adam, I'm not referring to you, obviously. I'm talking
yeah,
to
I mean,
the people that I
Greg
think
didn't even know
Labs
I was
is-
vegan. You know what I mean? It's like 'cause I don't
the-
talk
I didn't
about it.
either.
I'm not trying to spread anything. Like I
Yeah.
do it for me. I don't give a fuck what you eat.
But I think it's once you have anyone who just seems like they are hyper passionate about something that
Mhm.
maybe they didn't get into very long ago, you know, like it's a
don't
relatively
know
new
anything
development and it's the
either.
most important thing in the world to them right now, and all of their arguments are kind of just the company line, like the
Mhm.
basics of if you went to the
And
Wikipedia
they don't, yeah, they don't
page of
actually
this
know
thing.
anything about
It's
that.
like what you
either.
actually you never understood is that they treat animals like blank, and then whatever the script is at that point. And often those are the people who will seem very, very invested in what other people do. And I'm just like, yeah, you know what, eat however you want, man. I'm never gonna be the type that's like, actually, the way I eat is I have 20 grams of carbs in the morning, and then I wait 20 minutes, and then I have 6 more, and this is what you got to do,
Right,
bros. This is
right,
what
right,
y'all
right.
got to do if you want to look like
Mhm.
this. Like, no, man, eat how you need to eat in
Yep.
order to afford food and not be breaking the bank, as Adam was saying, going out every night. Like, yeah, you're gonna feel pretty good if you're having professionally cooked steak dinners for every meal, but you're also
Right,
gonna
right,
be
right.
broke. You know, like
Right.
yeah, that's not sustainable. And a way that you can get the calorie demands that your body needs so that you have the energy that you need to get through the day. That's number one. That's the reason we eat. And then other things, what are your goals? So if you want to build a bunch of muscle, yeah, you're probably going to want proteins. And if you want to do that vegan, you're going to need to look into ways in order to get protein sources through vegan foods and actually do some work. But
Right.
ultimately, like, just let people do what they want to do.
Yeah,
man.
stop being in
Offer them
people's
help if they
faces.
ask for it, but other than that, just
A lot of
it's
the
your
issue,
diet.
Educate
Don't worry about
yourselves.
other people's.
a lot of the
Unless
issue
they
is
say,
that
"Hey, how should I be eating? I don't know how to eat." Then tell them everything about what you do. You know?
yeah, these types of the ideologues that you're talking about,
Mhm.
they don't really have much to like talk about. They don't really have personalities that are worth talking about. So they use these kind of things as like they're everything. Like, oh man, oh, I do CrossFit. It literally all you do is CrossFit, and that's all you have to talk about. And it's like, all right,
Mhm.
get some more hobbies other than that. It's like
Right.
the LGBTQ plus 2A whatever. It's like that's all they have. And they make it all of their personality is all about talking about that instead of I don't know, maybe having that be something that it shouldn't matter. It's like, who cares what your orientation is, like who you like to bed, it's like, all right, well, are you a good person? Are you fun? Are you humorous? Do you collect weird things? Do you I don't know, whatever. I'm so sick of this shit.
Right. Well, it's funny. GK had a pretty funny little thing up here. It says a vegan, an atheist, and a liberal walk in a bar. I know this because they all told me within 5 minutes. Right?
It's
And
kind of true.
there's truth to that with a lot of things for sure. I think you can replace that with I think that the entire joke of that is just anybody who walks in and you immediately know everything about them, within 5 minutes is a very boring person.
The evangelical
Yeah,
atheist
exactly.
is a particularly funny one, though.
Yeah.
See, guys, there's actually no God, and why I know this is because this person, and then like they preach to you, and it's like, dude, this is just your religion.
Hayden
Right.
says, just nourish yourself by sunning. It's probably the healthiest.
Just
Is
lying
that
in the
Sunning?
sun?
Like perennial
suntan?
sunning?
Yeah, I'm a plant.
You know, I saw. You guys know who Chad and JT are? You ever heard of those guys before? No.
No.
They are. They have a Netflix show, and they have a relatively small YouTube channel in the grand scheme of things. But they're like more or less a 2022, 2023 version of Bill and Ted, where they're like
Okay.
surfer dudes, and
Okay.
but they're activists.
Yeah.
And no, but it's funny because their activism is like really like they so they one of their bits in their show was they wanted to protect all skateboarders from various things, so they wore these shirts that say protect our borders, and
That's good. I like
that's
it.
good.
and then
Oh,
they
that's funny.
stood next to a guy who had an actual protect our border shirt, and so they got slack, and people were like, oh my gosh, those racists, they're gonna cancel them, and they just didn't understand, you know.
That's just amusing. Come
Yeah,
on.
it's really funny. It's a pretty. Anyways, I would love to have them on the show, and I'm sure they're characters, but they're really
I
funny.
like
So,
it. I
um,
need one of those shirts.
but they have a bit where they do like sunning, where they're like stripped down naked and they put their buttholes in the air and they let the sun absorb into their butts.
Yeah,
It's,
perennial sunning. I think that's what it's called.
you know, that's a thing.
Yeah. Oh, I've made fun of it on my show before many times.
What?
Look,
Okay.
yeah, perennial sunning, I think is the actual name of it.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
You learn something new every day.
Perennials are flowers, so it's named after that. Clearly, you know.
Yeah, the human flower, I guess, is the butthole.
I just want to let you know, don't look at Google searching. Actually, you know
wow,
what?
you're
Here.
gonna have the weirdest shit on your.
I wasn't
know.
confused until the human
go.
flower part.
There we go.
I was like, wait a sec.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
I guess
So
that's a good exercise. You built working your abs that way.
there's a good rule to the internet that I learned about from Nick Rekieta.
Mhm.
Now this is shortly after the 2022, early 2022. There was a incident, late 2021, early 2022, on You Are Here, and it shed a lot of things to light about a man named Jack Murphy. Now this guy had a hidden past that no one knew about, and he was a self-proclaimed guru, alpha male, teaching you how to be a man. And people started doing some digging on him because he snapped about a super chat that was read on the show that he was on.
Mhm.
And they found, boy, did they find some stuff. And moral of the story is, don't ever have a picture of yourself with your ankles above your head on the internet. That's just something,
I'm
or
safe.
not even on the internet. Don't have that picture taken.
Period. Yes.
Yeah, just keep your ankles below your head zone.
Is it a
Heartfelt.
loophole
Yeah.
if you only have one
Heartfelt.
ankle?
So
Oh my
mark
God,
it.
Mike.
There's an exception. All right, no, keep your one ankle below your headline. All
Well,
right.
I'll say this: if that rule went into play, OnlyFans would go out of business really quick.
I mean, my
Okay.
beard is graying in some pretty uneven places right now, so I don't know. I'm afraid, man. It's
Metastep.
He's
only
on
a
his
matter
way.
of time before I'm taking a photo of my butthole with my ankles behind my head.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
I know.
Good news is you might have a shot with X-Ray Girl, everybody.
All right. Metastep says, I do Destiny too, and you should too. Thank you, Metastep. Appreciate that. And Got Trunks picked up some merch. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that. That is awesome. All right.
Trunks is my favorite Dragon Ball character.
Go,
Because he's basically Kyle Reese from Terminator.
I says Got Trunks. It should be Go Trunks. That's what it should be.
Ah.
Go Trunks, yes.
Goat trunks.
Go Trunks.
Yeah, it's Go 10? Go 10. Yeah, Go 10 and Trunks when they fusion.
Oh,
No?
right. Oh,
Yes.
that.
Anyone
thing.
ever seen Dragon Ball Z?
I have no
I've
idea.
seen that image. I
and
know.
then they turn into one guy. Two people turn into one person. It's called fusion, and their name is usually a
Amalgamation
portmanteau
of
of
the
both
two.
of their names. So when it's Goten and Trunks, it's Go Trunks. Go Trunks, yeah.
Hey, it's a
Go
great place
Tanks,
to finish
Go
the
Tanks,
show
yeah,
today.
maybe
We're
it's
going to
Go
head over to
Tanks.
patreon.com/sidescrollers. If anybody wants to hop in. Sorry to cut you off there, Mark.
I don't know. I'm not a Dragon Ball Z expert, but I know a little bit about it.
I was totally lost on what you're talking about. Totally. but
I
that's
mean,
okay.
I don't know. Is Dragon Ball Z not a pretty common thing that people are aware of?
He's
though?
yes,
very
he's
Like if
much
I
the
say
fusion,
Luke, I am your father, you know what I'm talking about,
he's
right?
the fusion guy who does the ghost move, right? He sends the ghosts after people. At least that's
Ghosts.
right. Yeah, he has that ghost move where when he was fighting Boo, he used it.
Yep.
I got
Like I said,
nothing.
I don't know nothing about Dragon Ball Z. I know.
I don't know
about it.
nothing.
I don't know
I got
nothing.
nothing.
But I do know that you guys should become
Talk to
members.
Krista Nova. She's the expert on that franchise.
Chris Nova's great. I do know you
Super-
guys should head over to patreon.com/sidescrollers and continue watching the shows. We're going to continue on for a few minutes longer. We'd love for you guys to join us with Mark. I think Travis is going to bow out for a little bit, but I would love for one of you to come over and join the 230 patrons over at patreon.com/sidescrollers. We'd love to see you there. No music to finish up the show, but I do want to let you guys know that people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Side Scrollers. Looking forward to that. Twitch, we're going to say goodbye to you guys.
Fatality.
I have to do it for
Goodbye.
Adam.
Thank you, Blabs.
Waiting for it. And YouTube, we're going to see you guys over there. Once again, I would love who's going to be the one that joins us over there, the one that is brand new over at patreon.com/sidescrollers. We'll see you guys later. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Trav, have a good day, buddy. We'll catch you guys later on, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Fatality.
Quite excessive.
It
There's a lot of